Very good evening to you all. Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur in Maharashtra State, is organized a World Record Series 2. Today there is 304th day of the series, and the keynote speaker for today's session is on dais Honorable Sunita Lama ma'am. So firstly, I welcome to you, madam, for this platform. I welcome the chief organizer of the series, our ideal principal, M. Ambedkar sir. I welcome the faculty members of my college and all those participants who joins from the states and even from the different nations. You are most welcome. The topic for today's presentation is the need to pause. Now the keynote speaker, it's my pleasure to introduce Sunita Lama ma'am. She is a mindfulness, wellness, as well as a happiness coach. She is from Jumeirah village circle, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So with this brief introduction, now I request you, madam, please start your presentation on the topic, the need to pause. You are most welcome.
Okay. Good evening. Yes. Good evening, firstly, and thank you very much, sir, for that. Unfortunately, yes, I am here for a short while, and the camera, this problem that you can see on the camera is with the inbuilt camera of the laptop. No, it doesn't work, sir. It doesn't work. Yes, it doesn't work. I've tried it. Yes. So that was what I was concerned about today, but I'm sorry about that, and I'm also glad that you saw that. I'm very sorry. So good evening to all the participants who are here this evening. This is my second session, and I am very grateful for this opportunity, second time, to share with you what I feel very passionately about. My topic for today is the need to pause. And as Sir mentioned, I'm a well-being, a happiness, and a mindfulness coach. So that's the area of my focus. And I feel the need to bring this into the limelight as much as possible so that everyone can bring in the changes in their life, day-to-day living, so that it becomes purposeful, meaningful, less stressful, and much more valuable. Thank you. With that, I'll start with my presentation, and I'll start by sharing the slide. And so please let me know if you can see the slide. Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Please carry on.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll start with the theme of the topic, which is taking a pause. So I invite you, if possible, to turn on your camera. Please, can you turn on your camera?
Dear
Everyone.
participants, we are requested you please make camera on.
Turn on your camera, and I'll put the timer for. Yes, I'll put the timer for 1 minute. 1 minute के लिए मैं timer on करती हूँ, और आप सबको मैं यही request करती हूँ कि हम 1 minute के लिए शांत होकर बैठे. Just 1 minute. कोई nothing as such. Just sitting and bringing ourselves completely to this session. Okay. So I'll put the timer, and we can begin. So the time starts now. If you wish, you can close your eyes and just wait in silence. Just sit in silence for a minute. Thank you very much. You may open your eyes. And if we can just begin by sharing, how was the experience?
It was wonderful.
I can see a lot of hands clapping. Yeah. How was it?
Wonderful. It's good. It's nice to have.
Thank you.
Pause.
Yeah, Dr. Swadesh raised his hand. Yes, Dr. Shukla?
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. It was really
Good
wonderful
evening,
experience because, we try to find out ourselves and we can find out peace within ourselves. We are not searching the
Yes.
peace outside. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you. So, we'll start with this question. Who are we? Who are we? Again, you can either speak out or you can write in the chat window. Who are we?
We are human beings.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So you hit the nail on its head. All right, going to the next slide. We are humans, okay? We are human beings. We are human. Okay, wonderful.
Ma'am, with the
Now,
physical structure, we are having a bright soul inside.
we have a bright soul inside. Wonderful. Okay, so
We are
as sir
superior
said, we
being
are
of
human
the
beings.
we are superior being of the Creator.
Yes, we are superior beings. Okay. And the meaning of the word being. So we all know the definition of ourselves very well. We are human beings, we are superior beings, we are beings with intellect and all of that. And the word being that defines us, what does it mean? It means we are living.
To live our life.
Yes, we are living. We are existence, we exist. And we have that essence, that superior. Just now, one of the teachers mentioned, right? A superior being. There's something within us, that essence of who we are. So that's the wonderful creation that we are. Now, what has happened to this wonderful creation? Let's go on. What has happened is, so what is the mistake that we've made? What is the mistake we've made?
Who couldn't get your question? What is the mistake?
Yeah, we are human beings.
Yeah.
We consider
And
the structure.
yeah, sorry, Dr.
Yeah.
Shukla.
Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat again?
Physical, whatever the organs we are having, that is me, but that is not exactly me. That is the inner soul, the inner energy, inner vitality is me.
Okay, yes. So we are human beings, and the meaning of the word being is we are living, we exist, we have an essence, we have our soul, as Sir said. However, the mistake that we have made is we have redefined ourselves. We know we are being, but instead of focusing on the being, we have become or redefined ourselves to be human doing. We are always caught up in the loop. We are running after things, we are running after our ambition, we are running after success, we are running after fame, we are running after glory. There is endless running after, and we don't know what.
Basically, we
So-
are social being. Social being, by human being is a social animal. That's obviously we are wanting animals. Basically, wanting animals. Our wants are never ending and never changing. That's what we are being.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. So according to Dr. Ahmed, we are social beings, and there is this want, there is this desire in us that keeps on keeps on luring us, taking us to that direction of wanting for more. Right? Okay. So what is it? Yes, as Dr. Shukla has already mentioned that we are social beings, so that's what is making us run after fame and power and glory. But when we run after these things and continue to keep running, what happens? What goes wrong? What goes wrong?
We will be
Are we
failing.
happy?
We will be failing to understand what we are actually. In running off from something, we are failing the importance of being. We are being.
Yeah. So what
We
happens?
forget,
What happens?
we forget
Basically,
to
are
live
we
our
all
own
happy?
life.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry.
We forget to live our own life and, to enjoy life. We
Thank
forget
you very
about
much.
those things.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we forget to live our own life. We are so programmed, that we become robotic, we become automatic, and we are constantly ticking our to-do list. Yes, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And I did all of this so that I can make this one happy or that one happy. It's not about my happiness. It's about completing all the duties that I feel I'm responsible for, so that the other person is satisfied with me, right? But in the course of doing that, what happens? Am I happy? What do I lose? What do I lose? What do I lose?
We lose our happiness.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you. We lose our happiness, and here it is. Yes, we lose our happiness. We are never content. Why is it that, let's say my big dream for this year, for 2023, was to have a house. And 2023, the whole of 2023, I worked very hard. And by the end of 2023, I was able to get that big house I wanted. But after getting that big house, what happens? Does my want stop there?
No, ma'am.
After I
No.
get, no. Then I want a bigger sofa. Then I want a bigger kitchen. Then I want a bigger, yes. And it goes on and on and on.
Next
Right?
desire is ready for us.
Yes. The next desire is ready to entrap us. Right? So that's what it is. So at the end of it, the realization that all of us must come through to is that if I continue to run outside, run for things outside, then I will never ever be able to live my life fully. I will never ever be able to satisfy my wants. So it is very important to come to this understanding that what is the true purpose of my life? Or else it is like, as Ma'am Dr. Solomon, Dr. Manju, as she just said, we'll be caught in this loop. One desire leads to another desire and another desire and another desire. And we are racing. We are racing to the end. And when we are near to our end, we have this whole lot of regrets. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. So, and along with this, what happens? Today, Today, the world over, last time also I mentioned, the World Health Organization has declared that loneliness, depression, mental health issues is one ailment that is at the top, and there is no cure to it, no medicine to help this. Right? So mental health issues like depression, trauma, anxiety, all of this, because the loop is constantly there. We are constantly running. We are not stopping. Until we don't stop and check on myself, then how am I to know what exactly I need? Not what I want, I need. That's an important question to ask. Like before I get into my car, or as I get into my car, the first thing I check is there fuel? Or is my car in the right condition to be driven? After I'm certain that the car is in a good condition to be driven, I drive the car. But do I really do that self-check on me? Am I ready to take this responsibility mentally, physically, right? So personally, on the personal front, I am anxious, I am stressed, I am depressed, angry, frustrated. And on a larger scale, what do we see? War, violence, hatred, anger. There is no place today in the world where we can say, oh, this is a peaceful place to live in. Right? And then we have these environmental concerns. Our greed, because of our greed, we have destroyed the natural world to the extent that it is now dangerous for us to even be alive. We don't know how we are going to continue living. Look at the pollution rate in Delhi. Like I have a brother who lives in Delhi. In every room of the house, there is a purifier, air purifier. And the minute you switch it off, you start coughing and sneezing. I mean, what kind of a lifestyle is that? You're totally dependent on something external, right? So let's move on.
Who are responsible for this environmental degradation? It is we, no, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, sir.
We are only responsible. We are being for running off for something good. We are destroying
Yes.
and everything.
Yeah.
Unless and until we have self-containment, self-satisfaction, then this is going to destroy further.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, absolutely. So what is the reason why we continue to run after something? There has to be a reason, right? So one is this, according to science. Now, this is backed by science. Like we have in us this primitive brain, because we must remember that our ancestors lived in the Stone Age period, right? And in that time, in that Stone Age era, there was danger lurking all around us, all around them. Our ancestors lived in fear. There could be wild animals attacking them. There could be fires. Suddenly, something dangerous would happen. So at that time, in that circumstance, their brains were such that it would immediately have to come up with a solution in order to help them save their life. So for that time, that primitive brain and how it functioned was absolutely fine. We still have that primitive brain in us, the limbic part of our brain. Of course, we have the prefrontal cortex also, but inside of that prefrontal cortex, somewhere inside, is the primitive brain. And the primitive brain functions on that fear factor. And that is what ignites You know, in us, we are governed by fear. Why are we constantly running after something? Because we always feel that I'm not enough. Like, think of this: when your child or your student gets a 60% or a 70%, what do we tell them? We don't tell them, good, you tried. We at once point out to them and say, this is bad. How can you only get this much? You have to aim for more. And the next time the child gets 90%, we still say the same thing. Only 90%? Why can't you get 100%? So there is this sense in us that I am not enough. I don't have enough. You know, I need to have more. So I am not good enough. I don't have enough. I'm not enough. That is constantly playing in our mind and in our brain. And that's the reason why we, more than, okay, yes, a lot is also depends on the kind of schooling we have, the society. You know, we live in this society where we are constantly competing with each other. We are trying to prove to each of us that, oh, I'm better or I'm the best, right? But along with that, in us, inbuilt in us is also this primitive brain that governs on fear and is constantly, directing us. Go after this, do this. It's like, think of the time when you sit alone. How do you feel? How does it feel to be all by yourself? There is always that negativity bias. You know, you're never thinking of the good part. It's always that which is the part where I'm not good at, the part that doesn't serve me right. So that's there. That's one reason why we get caught up in this vicious circle, in this loop of always running after something external, because I need to be validated. I need to constantly hear that, yes, I am good. Yes, I am worthy. Yes, I am well known, or, I have so much. I have a name. I have fame. We constantly need that. And another fact is also this: the kind of world we live in, right? We live in an age of technology. Today we hear of AI, yes, artificial intelligence, and we are also seeing the extent to which it is taking over our natural life. And so the world we live in is kind of engulfing us, taking us inward, in it, at a very fast pace. So it's a place of relentless competition. And as I said, what is this competition for? Like, if we even ask each other, we don't know. Where is it leading us? We don't know. But because it's happening, everyone is caught in it. So we have this fear of missing out. So we want to be part of it. We want to be part of it. The minute I try to draw myself out, I feel lost. So I get caught up. And it is, and why am I not happy, though I'm doing all of this? Is because in reality, everything outside is superficial. This world of AI and technology is superficial. So that is one reason why there is so much issues with mental health today. Children have a lot of mental health issues, lack of attention, lack of focus. And the same thing is happening to adults, because we are constantly glued to technology. And recent study has also shown that because of this, we are losing our ability to be empathetic and caring and compassionate. Because we are so in contact with something that is so cold, that's exactly how we reflect, right? We reflect what we are in constant contact with. So that's the impact of our constant contact with technology. And we are so outward driven. Now, what can we do? So this is there, right? This is what is happening. This is reality. But as we also know that in essence, in truth, we are human beings. We are this creation that can evolve, that have the basic goodness in us, the ability, the power, the talent, everything is in us. So what can we do? What is important is we have to learn to stop. We have to learn to bring in small pauses in our day-to-day life. We have to learn to reconnect inwards. So as we are going out, we have to go out. Obviously, we live in this world and we have to be of this world. But as we are going out, we should take breaks to also go inwards and check. Like we take a lot of care to maintain ourselves physically, right? We go to the gym, we go to the doctor, we get our physical health checked, we maintain a diet. We have to do something similar for our mental health as well, in order to bring about true happiness and contentment, and in order to not to be driven by the primitive part of our brain. We have to learn to just come back to ourselves, check on ourselves, slow down. Because when we slow down, again, science says this, that when we slow down, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And parasympathetic nervous system is the one that controls all the vital organs in the body. So it takes care of our heart, our eyes, our digestive system, our limbs, everything. And when we take a pause, we respond, whatever we do in calmness and in peace. So the result is always positive. We have to learn to stop so that I am not lost in the crowd. We have to learn to connect with ourselves so that we find ourselves. So re-establishing intimacy with myself. And when I establish intimacy with myself, then I am also empathetic and compassionate for everyone around me. Because our essence is that we feel, we sense, we have emotions. When we are in the doing mode, we ignore our emotions, we ignore our feelings. When we take a pause, we notice our emotions, we notice our feelings, we notice what is making me sad, what is making me happy, what is making me joyous. And just to be alive with those emotions is enough, nothing more. Just acknowledging my being, acknowledging that I am breathing by just noticing my breathing. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, maybe for 1 minute, maybe for 2 minutes. Just that much. That is enough to bring me back to myself. So being in the doing, being alive. I'm a human being going about my daily chores, doing what I have to do, but with my full I'm awake, I'm aware, I'm present. And that is the tip to contentment, to happiness, and things will happen itself. Where to draw the line, where to stop will happen because I'm listening to myself. I'm not driven by the others. the outside world. When I listen to myself, then what changes I need to bring into my life will come. I will hear them. So I just mentioned this, that science backs it. So with this, that when we take a deep breath in and we breathe out, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is the one that controls all the vital organs in the body. And if the technique is so simple, the technique is just taking a pause. So if we become conscious and do this on a daily basis as many times as needed, then all these major health issues that we have, that will be taken care of. It's as simple as that. Our social relation, as Dr. Ahmed mentioned, we are social beings. Today, our relationships are superficial. In fact, we don't have relationships because do we really spend time with each other? We don't. Even when we are sitting with each other, we are lost in our phone. We are looking at the phone. We are not really enjoying each other's company. But by doing these sort of activities, we will learn how to bring back our social connection, and come back to a much more holistic lifestyle. So, how can we do this? How can we bring in these pauses? Yes, that's the topic. So, there are formal ways and informal ways of bringing in these pauses. Formal ways are like, for example, taking time out daily, like each day, making a commitment to myself that 15 minutes or 10 minutes, either in the morning or evening, I sit, I exercise, or I do some yoga, or I sit in silence, meditate. That's the formal practice, right? So, or we do the pranayama, the breathing exercises. There are many. These are formal ways of taking a pause. And doing this, especially in the morning and at night, gives us, it rejuvenates us. And I'm saying this through personal experience because that's exactly what I do, right? It gives us that energy, that vitality, that strength, that resilience to go out in life with positive energy, with faith in myself, with belief in myself, because we all know that each and every day is a challenge, and challenges come in different ways. But it's my life, I have to face a challenge. One way in which I build the strength to face this challenge is also by having these formal practices in place and committing to them, doing them each and every day. That's one. This is a formal practice. And informal practice is, sorry. Yeah, yes. Can you see the screen? Yes, okay. Yes, okay,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
Sorry. Informal practice is throughout the day, in the middle of work or, whatever you're doing, just taking a break of 20 seconds. And just when I know I'm lost, I'm caught up, I just stop and breathe. Or stop, get a glass of water. Stop, have a cup of tea. Stop, take a walk. Whatever it is that brings you back to yourself. The minute you realize that you are in that auto mode, like automatic, just take a stop. And do something like stand. If you're in the office sitting and working, just stand up, stretch your hand, stretch your legs. If at home, then maybe just go drink water or make tea, however it is. Or you don't have to do anything, just stop and breathe. 20 seconds. Or you may just stop, go to the balcony, go outside, listen, look out if there are trees around you, or whatever it is there outside, maybe buildings, maybe people. Just look, observe what is there, listen to the sounds. Yeah. So what are the ways in which you can bring yourself back to yourself the minute you're caught up? Like maybe while you're talking, you're working and you're talking to someone, and the person tells you, oh, but you're not listening. So that's a clue. Just look up, look at that person. Yeah. So, yeah, it brings, so if we do these conscious, this requires practice, sadly, because we are so disconnected with ourselves. Right? So in order to come back to ourselves, we have to make a conscious effort. It will be a very slow process, yet never give up. Try. And as I said, it doesn't have to be long practices. Simple, short, 1 minute, 20 seconds, 30 seconds practices will help. But what is important is to be committed to it. Right? Change will definitely come, and it will begin to show. It will happen slowly. And the feedback will come from people around you. You may not notice it, but people around you will begin to notice. And that's how you know that, oh yes, it is making an impact, it is changing. And automatically you yourself will notice how you become attuned to yourself. And everything that you had been wanting to change in your life, that will begin to happen naturally. Like maybe you wanted to give up on a particular kind of food. Like for instance, I wanted to give up on sugar for a very long time. And it was only recently that I stopped. And it just happened very suddenly. One day I just felt like I don't want sugar in my tea. And since then, there is no sugar in my tea. There is no craving too. It just feels okay not to have sugar in my tea. So that's how it is. I mean, the body intelligence will start making sense, So that, we talk about a lot of things that is inside of us. You will become a witness to that. Creativity, insight, talent, intelligence, wisdom, all of that will begin to show. But the only thing that we need to work on is coming back to this pause, taking this pause again and again and again. And the pause is just stopping what you're doing and breathing. 3 breaths, just 3 breaths. And then checking on your feeling. How am I feeling? Oh, this cup of tea makes me happy. Oh, this flower. Oh, there's a new flower in the garden. So something as simple as that. That color is so beautiful. The sky looks blue today. There's cloud. Oh, it's raining. Enjoying little things, savoring the moment. Yes. And it can also be good food while cooking, while serving, while eating, while working, while talking to a colleague. How can I be fully present? So the bigger truth is that everything is transient. We are impermanent. Our life is not forever, right? And the truth is, the bigger truth is that we are powerful beings. So if we are powerful beings, then we must live our life fully. If our life is transient and impermanent, then we should bring these changes at the earliest. What is important? What is that truth and purpose? That is something for us to find right here, right now. And that can be done if we connect to our being and those of others around us, having sympathy, having compassion, having that caring. Open presence, not judging anyone, right? And time and again, we have to make this effort to come home. This inside of me is my home. Just as coming home from office every day gives me that sense of peace, like, the minute I open the door of my house and I come in, I drop my bag and I feel safe, right? Removing my shoes and just being myself. Similarly, coming to myself here inside is that peace, is that safe haven. So we must learn to come in. And that can happen with non-doing. The mind will always tell us to be in the doing mode. Yeah, and as I shared with you why the mind does that, we have that inbuilt system in us, which we carry from our ancestors. Nothing wrong with that. But we can retrain it, rewire it to stop, to feel okay. It's okay not to do. It's okay to just be. Right? It's okay to take time off. And to learn from life. Life is a classroom. We can take valuable lessons from life. So lastly, Viktor Frankl, who is a psychologist and a Holocaust survivor, he says, between the stimulus and the response, between the two, the stimulus and the response, there is a space. And in that space is your power and your freedom, and also your love and your wisdom. So listen to that voice inside of you that says, stop. Yeah, don't ignore it. Don't cover it. You are the awareness. And you must come back to that awareness by taking that pause. Thank you so much, sir, and everyone who is present here today. Thank you very much. I hope
Thank
it was
you
worth
very much, ma'am,
Thank you.
for the wonderful presentation. Now it's a time for discussion. Now I request dear participants for your queries. If you have, please come ahead, dear participants.
Ma'am, I want to know that.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that rat race?
Okay. So the rat race is being, the competitive world that we live in, right? We only look at the competition that is outside, and we become part of that competition without really pausing and thinking for ourselves, is it worth being part of that race? Is it worth being caught up? So, yeah, everything in the external world, that is like a snare, that catches us. I hope that was a satisfactory answer, ma'am.
Madam, is it because of the thanklessness all things in crop up? The anxiety, the unhappiness, everything. Do you think it is a reason for that? Competition, comparison, all these things?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, doctor.
Do you mean to say we need to work out on that to have a self-satisfaction, contentment, and have not to compare ourselves with somebody else and competing? All this lead to our unhappiness, all the ailments which we are inviting. Actually, I think we should work on this, and I think we will be. If you overcome that, then things will be in our favor.
Yes. number one, we cannot compare ourselves with anyone, right?
True.
Yes, unfortunately, that's what we were taught from a very tender age, to compete with each other, to prove that I'm better than him or better than her. That is what we learned. But come to think of it, we just said it. We defined ourselves as human beings. Each human being has his or her own distinctive qualities, and there is enough space for all of us. If I find myself, I will shine my light. I will be who I am meant to be. So where is the competition? But the problem here is that I am not getting the opportunity to understand who I am, because I'm programmed, I'm conditioned. So that's where I am, going towards. And then you reach a point where you realize you break down, because then you feel that this is not who I was meant to be, because this is not what my life is all about. I didn't want this. And then you feel that, oh, I cannot take a turn because it's too late. So rather than competition, I think it is more of appreciation. Can we learn to appreciate and rejoice in someone's success? Because in so doing, I have that goodwill, and that is a much more constructive, positive way to my own growth. Yeah. And definitely, if I have, it's also changing our perspective. What is a miracle is a change in our perspective. The minute I change my perspective, I change my life. And as you very clearly mentioned, Dr. Ahmed, that we are anxious, we are stressed, we are unhappy because are we ever rested well? Do we ever take time to rest? And today, this is even less, because we think on a Sunday, how are we spending that one day off we get from work with our phones? So we think that is how we are resting, but then remember, mentally, it is even more taxing. And that is making things worse. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. I hope that was.
Thanks so much, madam.
Thank you.
Dr. Manju madam was talking something.
Okay, yes,
please.
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am, that is right. I want to know that what is a rat race. And
Okay.
I want to say that in our life, the circumstances, that the working atmosphere, we are not able to take calmly our work to do, but everywhere there is a competition. We don't want to
Yes.
show that we are very capable. That's our work shows that we are very capable. But and as you mentioned that you don't want to take sugar in your coffee, I am trying to do this last 1 year, but I'm not able to do that. Key, I'm not taking sugar, and I have diabetes also. But craving every evening and the morning, I want tea with sugar. So what to do that for that?
So maybe small step at a time. Maybe instead of every day, maybe one day you can skip sugar, ma'am. And then slowly that one day can be 2 days. And again, listening to yourself, don't be hard on yourself. Take time, and one step at a time, small step at a time. And I do agree with you that, yes, it is also the circumstances that make us competitive. But how can we change our home front? Very important is our children and today's generation. How can we groom them in the right manner? so that they are ready to not lose themselves as they go out into the world. I think that's a major concern. Because mental health issues, depression, substance abuse, this is what is happening with the younger generation at a very large, alarming scale.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes, I know that I am teaching in college. I know that first year student, second year student, they are saying, "Ma'am, I am depressed." So this is true.
Yes.
And your presentation is excellent, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Now it's time to Dr. Sanil Shukla, sir. Please.
Good evening, Dr. Bedkar sir, Prashant sir, and good evening, ma'am. Wonderful presentation you have made, and really, it makes us to think, when we should take a pause, because we are running and running. You have mentioned about sympathetic and parasympathetic tone, which is very much part of a medical field. And yes, definitely, when we are anxious, when we are having fear, when we are going on a stage, when we are appearing for some exams, we get these anxieties and fear, and that sympathetic tone is stimulated. I think, we should practice parasympathetic tone, that tone should be there with this kind of activities. So I think we can do much better, rather than just carrying that sympathetic tone with us. So that is wonderfully explained. And the WHO also says that, the human being is not, or the human health is also not a one-dimensional phenomena. It is a multi-dimensional phenomena. So it has physical, mental, emotional, social, and various aspects. And some respected authority has said about the social aspect. But I think mental and emotional aspect has to be taken care of, because that is the only driving force, I think, in the human being, right, that takes a person in the right direction. So many of the times, this driving force get disturbed. And for this purpose, I think there is a need of such a seminar like Pause. And I think, yes, definitely, one has to be there in his own, with his own, right? That is one thing. You sit at one place and see the scenery, or you go to the temple, keep your head and just forget about the world and be there with you. So that is, I think, what we are thinking of the pause, right? So wonderfully explained. You have explained. You were talking about the rat race also, and we call it as a crab's psychology also. But rather than that, what I feel, nowadays human beings are they are having a race with his own own self. So what I can do next, and that thirst, that greed is not getting vanished. I think up to the last breath, he's doing all these kind of activities, and we forget to take a pause and stay over there and think, what I'm doing exactly, whether I'm really prospering only physically, or I'm prospering, mentally and spiritually, and my soul, is feeling some greatness with my work. That is missing somewhere. So people you will find nowadays dissatisfied with their jobs. They jump from one job to another job with the money, some simple money, few amount, thousands of money. People jump from one job to another job. That is what is happening exactly. And you were saying that people nowadays saying depressed and other words. Just 2 weeks back, I got a patient from Germany, and a very small kid of 4 years old, and she was saying that I'm feeling depressed. I was astonished to learn that, how this girl knows this word and how really she feels about it. I started thinking about that. So definitely, we require some kind of meditation, yoga, spiritual enlightenment, and other things, rather than just running a race which is endless. There is a story of a person running running, and the condition was, as much as he will run, he will be getting that land. And mind you, when he died because of this running, he required only I think some feet of the land to bury him. So I think we are in that race only. So I think we have to stop somewhere and we have to take a pause. My question is very important question is there anything, as you are coach, is there anything you would like to suggest to my students, to bring that light, that brightness in their life? So what you would like to suggest to them? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think that was thank you for all your sharing as well. That was very insightful. So one thing that I do with my students as well and my clients is 7 days gratitude challenge. Every day, ask your students to share 3 things that they're grateful for in them, like 3 good things that happened to them today. It can be as simple as somebody making their breakfast for them, somebody sharing a taxi ride, somebody carrying their bag for them. So 3 good things that happened to them, 1, and 3 good things that they did for someone else. So ask them to do it 7 days, and then another 7 days, so 21 days. And along with that, also ask them to do a reflection. How does that feel, talking about that? So it sounds very simple, but again, as per science, neuroscience, it is rewiring. Why, as you just mentioned, that it is also you trying to prove yourself. You are unhappy with yourself, so you're constantly running after one thing and after another and after another. That is because, again, I have this feeling that I'm not enough. I have to keep doing and I have to keep doing. But the minute I stop and I see, this is the good thing that I have. This is the good thing that I can do. This is the good thing that's happening to me. I begin to recognize that actually I am enough. I have enough. I don't need more. So that brings in a lot of change in their perspective. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think there is one mantra, Shanti mantra in Isha Upanishad of Yajurveda. Purnamada, Purnamasya, Purnata, Purnamadachyate. And we should get that kind of satisfaction with oneself, samadhan, satisfaction. That word, I think we should adhere to that. And we should we should have gratitude also, and we should appreciate others, because appreciation is a divine quality. So thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think that this fastback culture, thinking of becoming a multimillionaire overnight, is causing this depression? Everything, the youngsters nowadays, they have such different mentality. They wanted everything in a next moment. That is causing a lot of as you rightly mentioned, depression, everything. And reality, the people living in a fantasy world. I do this, so they're just daydreaming, becoming more common nowadays. And this is the basic problem. But I presume, madam, what do you say about this?
Yeah, I think that's the very reason why there is this need to pause. We are living it's so fast paced. The rate at which things are moving is so fast that especially today's youngsters are of that time, so they want everything. They want a quick fix solution, but that's not how life is. And so bringing them to recognize the reality of life, teaching them to slow down, teaching them to just be. I think that's what is important. And I feel like this has to now become part of the education system. It has to be there in the curriculum. And that's where they start, right? And right from kindergarten, the art of slowing down.
In these days, madam, when you have multidisciplinary system, a multicultural system, is it possible to apply what you said?
Why not? We have to keep it very, it's a multidisciplinary, but this is something that we all need, right? All over the world. So keeping it very secular, keeping it very open, not referring it to any particular practice, but just bringing in the science, the scientific aspect of it. Sure. And believe me, in the West, this has become part of mindfulness. which is the art of slowing down, has been incorporated into the education system in the US, in the UK. And I'm hoping that it will happen in India too very soon.
Hope for the best only we can say, because we generally don't adopt good things, and we adopt only things which are not tuning to our system of what we have system, and that's the reason we are still in the developing economies list. You should have been developed nations, unlike Germany and Japan, which are destroyed in the first world, second world. No, they are ruling the world. We are still not able to.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yeah, holistic education. I strongly believe is what we need now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? So thank you, Dr. Manju ma'am, Dr. Badiuddin sir, and Dr. Swan Shukla sir for your queries. And ma'am have answered it very cleanly. So thank you so much, ma'am, to you. Now I request the chief organizer of the series, our ideal principal, M. Bedkar sir, for their words in the session. Please.
We are getting great fish every day. That is a wonderful thing what you are doing. So nothing to worry, sir, about my name, but we are getting so much from the resource person, and you are the mediator for that. Thank you.
और Swansika is a medical doctor है, so he knows better than psychology, physiology, everybody. So he can postmortem everybody very well. नहीं सर, मेरी मदर की तबीयत ठीक नहीं थी, तो मैं वापस वतन गया था, करीमनगर में था मैं, तो जी बहुत अच्छा लगा सर.
Thank you, sir. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. But before I will quote these lines, the right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur in Maharashtra State, is organized a world record series 2. Today we have completed 304th day of the series. And the resource person for today's session was on dais Honorable Sunita Lama ma'am. She explained the topic, the need to pause, very effectively, very sincerely, in a simple language, where madam have explained what does a pause mean in mental, the purpose of pausing, and the importance of pause in life, as well as the effective ways to use a pause. I think pause is and pause is the button which is needed to everyone's life. So your lecture was so sincere, madam. It was very effective. The PPT was perfect, and the way you expressed it was very really a great one for all of us. We learned a lot from your lecture. So I'm very, very thankful from the bottom of heart to you, and also express my sincere gratitude towards you. I thank the chief organizer of the series, Honorable Principal M. Ambedkar sir. Also thanks the faculty members of my college, Honorable Praveen Udge sir and others. And heartily thanks Dr. Swamin Shukla sir, Honorable Manju ma'am, Dr. Badiuddin sir for their nice queries. And also you shared your views. Now really we expect with your questions as well as your views in the series. And you do that, you fulfill our wish. So thanks a lot to you, sir. And thanks to all those dear participants who joined from the state and abroad. Now request to you all, please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box. With the kind permission of the chief organizer, I declare today's session is over. Once again, thank you so much, Sunita ma'am, for being with us. You accepted our invitation and delivered a wonderful lecture within us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Thank you.